Dr. Drew is one of the most listened to doctors in America when it comes to love and sex advice. I mean, who could forget Loveline? Every single one of us have like concrete memories of listening to it. He still takes questions on his podcast, Dr. Drew After Dark. So Dr. Drew, before we get to some viewer questions, tell us about Dr. Drew After Dark. I watch it. It's amazing.
Thank you. It's really a YouTube channel and podcast on your Mom's House network, which is Tom Segura and his wife, Christina P. And comedians come in with me. And it's the same old stuff. Even though they have all the access to information on the internet now, the same confusion is there. And so we get a lot of voice messages like we're going to get today. And we look at disturbing videos and things like that. It has a comedic bent to it, but it's really a new incarnation of Loveline.
You know who gets spicy on that show is your wife.
Oh, yeah. You've seen that. So she comes in every 4 to 6 weeks, and we just let it all hang out. Like we have a very good relationship. And we talk about it. And, we figure we're lucky after, 30, 40 years together. I mean, it's just wild.
It's inspiring. It is. Okay, so Erica, okay, go ahead.
I'm so excited because I was a huge Loveline fan. Thankfully, I listened, so I wasn't embarrassed when I was coming of age. So let's get some questions. All right, some viewer questions. First up, we got Kristen Arnold. Hey, Kristen.
Oh my God.
What would you like to ask Dr. Drew?
Well, I am married for 30 years, and we're finally empty nesters. And we have 2 beautiful children, but we want to know, like, we do date night once a week, but how can we get back to the 90s and back to us?
Okay, so great question. I'm with you, and I got you. Congratulations on 30 years and your family and the kids and everything, and that you want this, that you want it, and you should have it. Take trips. Go away. It's not just date night. You got to go away instead of rekindle thing. The other thing, and the number one thing, and I'm not going to ask you about this, I'm going to tell you, and you see if it's pertinent for you, but biology. Biology plays a major role as you're hitting your 50s and 60s, and it's undertreated. Women particularly need testosterone. They need estrogen. Men sometimes need testosterone. It can massively impact your libido, and to overlook this is a giant mistake. And my wife's here to watch my wife on After Dark. She talks a lot about this because she got on these hormones and it changed her life.
Oh, wow. And yours.
And mine. In a good way. And I would take testosterone if I didn't have prostate cancer. But that's a whole other story.
Jeffrey.
All right. Thank you, Kristen, so much for that.
Thank you, Kristen.
We actually have another DBL viewer, I like that, who left a message. It's my wife. No, it's not. Let's listen to yours for a second.
Dr. Drew, my husband and I are both over 60. We've been married 15 years. However, we've not had a sexual relation for over 6 years of that marriage. He appears to be unable, but he won't go to a doctor. Other than this, we have a perfect marriage, financially and in every other way. Should I question this, or should I just continue to live with it?
Here's the deal. Sex is a really important part. It's very often the glue. It's the intimacy. You need that. And it's interesting. Anybody over 50 or 60, they're going to have these issues. They're so common. Make an appointment and go with him. Just drag him in. When I see men with these sorts of issues, actually with almost any issues, because their wife made an appointment and brought them in. And we do not like to come in. But when you really let us know, I got into therapy because my wife called me and said, "You need therapy." And I went, "Yeah, I know." She said, "No, listen to me." And the hair stood up in the back of my neck. And that was one of the best things I ever did. So do what all my patients' wives do and bring them on in. And there's a ton of treatment, and you can find your way back, I promise.
Oh, that's really good, having some hope here. We have a viewer that wrote in. This is for Sarah. Sarah wrote in, "My husband keeps track of every time we have sex, and he has a personal goal of 100 times a year. Do you think," is this my husband? I'm just kidding. "Do you think tracking your sex life is normal? And what do you think about a couple married for 30 plus years having sex 76 times a year?" Dr. Drew, what's your advice?
What's on your head? What are you thinking?
No, I was just, it's someone who's particularly...
This is really cracking you up.
No, I guess it's someone who is specific about numbers.
That's what's weird. That's what's weird.
A little obsessive,
and I'll tell you, average is 1.5 times a week, so let's do that math. That's certainly...
What's the half?
That's just...
What'd you say?
Don't expect her, Bert. That's around 75, right? So it's okay to put goals on it?
And it's okay, but I mean, it's pay attention, but to have weird goal of 100 times, I mean, I understand that. Particularly, that's a male thing, you know what I mean? mean, pay attention to your female spouses. If you have a female partner, they motivate differently than you. So
Yeah, very true.
Pay attention.
Jeez. Like a chart.
Yeah. Is there a finish
It's
line
awesome.
at the end?
Sounds
They
cool.
run through the tape?
Sounds great. It sounds awesome.
Yeah, but I said it's a male thing. I'm like, it sounds kind of cool. Like, you mark it off and like,
Trust me.
this is 100. Let's get it going.
We're going to go the other way. Not a great strategy.
Yeah. Dr. Drew, thank you so much for the advice.
That was
DBL
great.
Nation, you can watch Ask Dr. Drew Tuesday through Thursday at 3 p.m. Pacific on all streaming outlets. Also, catch his podcast, Dr. Drew After Dark. You can submit questions to the show on Twitter.